now appearing in the building, up in every ear hole from 80-year-olds to the children. You're here to hear about the heroes and the villains, and save yourself some dollars, yen, and euros from the zeros to the millions. This is a lot of class packed into one podcast. They probably ought to have laws passed, but it's too late to stop the onslaught. Raw blast of compacted, bombastic, five-alarm sass. They're talking AVX, way back to Secret Invasion. They're talking flying up high in the sky, down to the feet on the pavement. They're reading the pages of every single one of the summer events. So other than Venice, you want to be coming to them when you want the Avengers. They're up inside of your environment with flying iron fists, giant-sized Goliaths, and the tiniest super scientists. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest.
Welcome to EMBS episode 15, where we shoot the breeze for about an hour. As of this recording, we are recording on April 7th, 2021. And yes, to get these EMBS episodes, as they come out, consider being a Patreon patron.
You out of practice already?
I know, right? I got some super soldier serum in me today, so I'm
first of the team.
Yeah. Go to patreon.com/EMPcast. Otherwise, you get these. These are released out to the public for freezies just a month later. So, be a patron. For as little as $1 a month, you can go and get these as they come out. And everything that we talk about, there'll be spoilers. So consider yourself warned.
Check the show notes if you're concerned, but we always try to give the word out there what it is that's going on in the show. So we are going to kick it off. We do have a special guest on this episode. A good friend of mine from college, first year of college. We have Richard.
Yo. Nice to meet y'all.
Holla.
I can't believe it's like the first time we had you on a podcast.
I know, man. That's pretty crazy, but I am happy to be here. Very happy to be here.
Yes. Richard and I have spent many nights. We used to be roommates in college. So we spent many nights just sitting up chatting about all kind of stuff. So this, it's kind of maybe where this show kind of came from, just shooting the breeze and having fun talking about all kinds of media.
Yes. Yeah.
There's kind of there's something sacred about the college roommate. Like, were you guys, in the dorms?
Yes, we were. Well, actually, it felt like we were. But at one point, Corwin did kind of just come move into the dorm, and that was just fine.
I used to live down the hall, but yeah, we used to always just be together. We used to always be at their crib.
Maybe you wasn't roommates in the dorm, but you lived in the same dorm? Is that what you're saying?
For the first year, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty, I don't know. There's something to that, there's a bond that, you come across when you
oh man
out on your own, you know what I mean? And
Bobby, if I told you how we actually wound up speaking to each other for the first time.
You might as well go ahead.
I know, man. I mean, Bobby, you're right. It's just a special bond that comes from living in the same dorm at the same time, at the same age. But sometimes, man, when a nice ass just walks by you and y'all both notice, y'all just have to acknowledge that together.
I honestly, I know exactly what you're talking about. One of my best friends from college, I'm still friends with him. He did the art for both of the bands that I was in. He did the art on the albums. That's exactly how we met.
Yeah.
And actually, he went on to later, get down on that particular dope ass. That was his college girlfriend.
Hey,
I was very jealous.
That is what's up, man. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what solidified it. We'd already seen each other and spoke, but once we acknowledged that we both had great taste in women, it was over after that.
Ass, bringing people together.
Since the dawn
I
of
know,
time.
since the beginning of time.
Yeah, honestly, right? Like that's about as like prime, taking it back as far as you can go. You guys are doing it like it's always been done. I like that story.
Yeah.
All right, Corin, what have you been up to, man?
Nothing much. Just work, kids. That's really it. Kids are dying to go back to school now. They're kind of tired of being cooped up in the house with this online learning. So, Gianni's his freshman year, so he's a little bit upset about it, but he's just ready to go back. So his sophomore year, he'll be heading back on campus.
Wow. Fresh, can't believe that.
Yeah.
Dude, you got supervision now too, right?
Yes, I did get the LASIK surgery on my eyes, so it's not super, but it's definitely much better than it was.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you even tell us if you had supervision?
Not on air, but yeah.
I got supervision. I used to say that was my mutant power. In fact, I have 30/20. I can see from 30 feet away. With those with 20/20 vision can see from 20.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
Damn, boy, then just like, Unbreakable and Glass, I'm the
That's
exact
right.
opposite of you.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
I can't see shit.
We were destined to do battle.
Yeah, we were. If you come a little closer, I'll hit you.
I can just almost.
What have you been up to, Bobby?
I've been toiling away I'm honestly trying to get to a point where I feel good enough about the new instruments I've been working with that I can actually put something up online. But I think partly because I have been in a band before, I have this I refuse to just do something because it's there. I'm holding myself to a pretty high standard, but I think this week or next week I'm gonna have some music ready for you guys. Specifically, one of the instruments I got, it's pretty cool. I've been wanting to tell you about it, actually, Corwin. It's the Street Fighter 2 audio sampler.
Yes, I remember.
Did I mention that to you before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
okay.
showed a picture of it
Oh, darn
to
it!
us.
Yeah, it's it's pretty fun. I did accidentally record over the Hadouken.
Oh.
But I can get it back, but I have to erase everything to get, you know what I mean? You can factory reset it, so I have to I'm still messing with it a little bit, but it's not lost forever. I'll get it back. So, but it's pretty fun,
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just messing with music. That's been mostly what's on my mind lately. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, like I said when I mentioned the super soldier serum, I got my first shot of the Moderna vaccine. So I got 2.5 G right now.
You're gonna get the 2.5?
Yeah, when I get to next month, I'll get to the whole 5G. So right now I'm a little G, and then in a month later I'll be a big G.
Yeah, it is, right?
Dollar bills, y'all.
Then you'll have the money, dollar bill.
Yeah, that's right.
Is
First
it really-
Montel Montel Jordan reference on the show. But yeah, I just been the commissions just keep coming. So
Grinding.
I'm working like a sweatshop.
Oh, I did put the word out today. Some people were there's some fake Hellfire Gala Funkos pops that are circulating.
Nice.
So everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I wish I can get one of those. I wish I can get one of those." And I'm like, "Oh well, I know somebody, but he's back up till summer." So I put the word out there, so you may get some more people reaching out to you.
Nice. It's one of those things where it's to this day now I'm just I'll just yo, I can't even think about this for 2 months. And then there's okay, cool. I'm not in a rush. I'm like, But like, part of me is just like, yes, but then another time I'm just like, oh. It's just like,
That's what you get for being so good.
right? It's one of those things where you're just like, yay, work, but like, fuck, work. So
It's the worst problems to have.
Yeah, man. Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, things are pretty good.
Happy to hear that.
All right, we ready to get on with the show?
Sure.
And now, on with the countdown. I'm Casey Case.
Well, Casey Kasem, you can go first. What you been watching?
I mean, we might as well just go right to the meat of the thing. You guys, I'm assuming, are all caught up on Falcon and Winter Soldier, right?
I knew that was the first thing.
I mean, I actually watched episode 3 again today, and man, I just like there was so let me try to frame this properly. I remember I went to see Captain America: The First Avenger, and I was so disappointed, like, with how Cap was sort of portrayed and the cheesy, you know, Disney sort of affect that was going on there. And then when Winter Soldier came out, the way it really, like, it hit for me, you know, like, I really felt, I don't know, it made you really kind of feel for Cap, like, it sort of turned in the movies, it made Cap my favorite Avenger, and the way that whole that storyline played out, and with those guys being the directors, it kind of became the main storyline, and they really kind of captured that in this show, which I didn't know if that was going to work without having Cap, you know, but with Sam and Bucky, it's really good, and they, like, their banter is just good, you know what I mean? It's right there. It doesn't really go over the top too much. Every once in a while, it does. The guy who's like the new Captain America is perfectly grimy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That
Just
poor
like,
guy, man. He's had like death threats. You're just
his
like,
privilege is just showing.
you bunch of idiots. These people. He's an actor. People. Like,
yeah,
chill you're supposed
silly.
to not like him, but for fuck's sake, it's a show. Like, good lord.
You know, at the same time, you remember what it was like when in the comics Sam got the shield?
Yeah, and that was also dumb.
Hashtag.
I know it was dumb, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, I guess if you're gonna do dumb, like, at least do dumb that way.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know that was like the beginning of like Comicsgate and all that other stuff. And
I just, like, that was a really eye-opening moment for me.
yeah, as soon as the show, like, Falcon and Winter Soldier, is like, ooh, there's gonna be some racists that are gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there already has been, but I try my best to steer away from that stuff if I can. But you know, that stuff was crazy. Like, when people were tweeting, like, not my captain and stuff like that, and like, take back the shield, because a black man in the comics had Captain America's shield, and that's how fucking racist people are.
I know. That was
surprising then, but then again, you know, I think it was just after that they elected Donald Trump and stuff. So my sort of, like, my tolerance for how dumb people can be has is, like, I have much more of a padded, unfortunate level of acceptance. Like, yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
And someone brought up that was kind of interesting, like, throughout the show. I guess, given the whole racial tension thing, there's sort of like an ongoing allegory of like just constant reminders, like throughout Sam or Falcon's throughout the time of the show where he's just like, it's like, oh, by the way, you're still black. Like, you're a damn Avenger, right?
Right.
All this stuff, but it's like, but by the way, you're still black.
Yeah, even the first episode, man.
Yeah,
like, that was something else.
Yeah,
you know?
you're just like, oh man.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
really, like, that's pretty deep.
Which really makes sense why he doesn't want the shield, and it's like he does not think he can represent America and what and everything with that. So even when he met Isaiah, it was like, oh damn, okay, he was really taken back by everything and upset about it. So I'm enjoying it.
I feel like, and they haven't really.
He meets Isaiah. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit, my bad.
Yeah, man.
No, it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good.
What episode are you on?
Dude, I've only watched the first one. I know, bad one, bad.
All right. Well,
But it's
not
okay.
really like it's
okay,
not breaking it off for you to say that. It's kind of like a side note so far. Hopefully he comes
It's
back.
it's not like a heavy storyline.
That's still dope, though, man.
Yeah.
It is dope. It is dope.
And
I think they really haven't they haven't really delved into very much the fact of the matter that Sam did give up the shield. It's kind of like they've been, on the run ever since. But that is some shit the way it went down, where they had this ceremony of him like giving the shield back and it being placed in this honorary like glass case for the world to see, and then a week later they announced new Captain America, who happens to be Ubermensch.
yeah, and he looks like, and people, I saw like some memes that like were comparing, like he looks like the old dude from Up.
He kind of does, damn.
He's a doofy looking dude.
He's a very
other
square
stuff.
chin looking dude.
Yeah, his chin is square, but in the worst way possible. It like doesn't make him look tough. It just makes him look squared.
And I won't give it completely away, but but in episode 3, there's one thing, just because I follow some Asian media type blogs, and they happen to mention that a certain Marvel city where it's normally a lot of Asian people didn't have any Asian.
Oh,
that's
damn.
kind of interesting.
Oh, damn.
Right. I won't give it away to Rich, because then, but yeah, we're just like,
And that's a
Curious.
big Easter egg too.
Huh?
Even that's a big Easter egg too.
right.
Even some place there.
Oh, that was huge. I had a question for you guys, actually. I was trying to figure out, they've met a character when they get to Madripoor, that woman with silver hair, and at first I could have sworn when they met, they said, like, they introduced themselves and she said her name was Sable or something. I thought it might be Silver Sable, but that didn't make sense. And it wasn't. Do you guys know who that character is? Is it a comics character, or do we know?
I don't recall, but let me look and see.
Yeah.
That's
I was trying to
You know what
avoid
I'm
saying
talking about.
Madripoor, Bobby, but you just said it, so never mind.
Did I say it?
Yeah, you just said
Oh,
Madripoor. That's fine.
I mean, you
all
kind
good.
of like all but me. It wasn't.
I was like, a certain Asian country.
By the way, there will be spoilers. Consider your ass warned.
Yeah.
No, I'm all good, man. I knew I should have watched that before, but it's all good.
It's all good.
Sorry, Rich. That's my bad.
No, it's not an issue at all.
I'm very impressed with the show, because like I was just expecting almost like a Marvel version of Lethal Weapon, basically, or just like a buddy
I
cop
didn't
type of
expect
show.
much.
And
Wow, I'm surprised.
I was kind of. It's, you know what? And you're right, Richard. Like, I keep waiting for like the shoe to drop with Marvel, and they wherever they go, they just keep that air about them. They just don't quit. Like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, like I was expecting it to just be like silly, and I was for it, right? Like, so like this is just gonna be a fun show, right? Like that I'm going to enjoy, right? But
And you
and
move the seat up.
fair.
Yeah, and it just ended up being a lot.
Guys, I have
lot
to say,
deeper
I'm really
and better.
surprised at y'all with that. And the reason why I'm going to say is this. It's like we all, especially Bobby, you just mentioned how Captain America was your favorite Avenger. And I'm sure that's shared with a lot of people. So I knew from the time they released Falcon vs. Winter Soldier that this was going to be one of their most highest quality things, and it wasn't going to be cheesy at all. Because when you think of it, the Captain America movies pushed the story forward almost the most, with the exception of course, Endgame, and of course, the possibly with a little bit of like maybe pretty much just all the Endgame stuff, but the Captain America stories were always like pivotal.
Yes.
Yes.
So Winter Soldier is probably one of my favorites, and Civil War is up there too.
Well, exactly. So when I knew they released this, I pretty much right off the bat knew it was going to be tight.
Yeah. Like, I guess it's more of their interaction in Winter Soldier, like just how they were like the comic relief, you know what I mean, and that's why I kind of got that vibe. That's what I got my feeling like this is gonna be fun and I'm gonna love it, but like I'm not expecting anything deep out of it, and that just more of like just like, can you move up your seat? You're like, no, like kind of stuff.
And the thing is, when they come with that type of stuff, it's perfect. It's just like, it's just enough. It's this little icing on the cake of the meat that they're definitely coming with. Rich, I got to tell you, I like your attitude, man. you're bright, looking to the horizon. Just believing in the. In the media in front of you. We've probably read too many comics. I think that's the problem.
Well, man, I've consumed a lot of media of all different types myself, so I don't normally go in with false optimism, but at the same time, I just recognize that Marvel understands Captain America. They understand how to shoot him. They understand why his movies are good. I mean, I've always told people this from the beginning. The reason why people like Captain America so much in the Marvel Universe is because he's got the perfect strength level that makes all his interactions with the other characters and his enemies interesting. He's not super weak. He's not super strong. He has the most creative, inventive fighting style that they've put inside of it, exception of maybe Spider-Man. But he's an amazing character to film, shoot. Every time he's on screen, he's impressive.
I call that the the Harrison Ford credentials, or like basically Harrison Ford or Bruce Willis Die Hard, right? Like, you're tough, but you can be hurt.
Yes.
And so there's not that feeling like you kind of hit right on it, that you're, at a power level where it's a foregone conclusion almost every time.
Exactly.
But to that, what you said, Rich, and Cap did become my favorite character in the movies, and that's like, I gotta stress that because everybody around here knows I'm a Clint Barton fan in the comics.
Oh, look at you!
But the way that the Winter Soldier turned and Civil War after that, they really brought something into the storyline of the Marvel Universe I wasn't expecting then, and you're right. I should be at a point where I expect nothing less than greatness. But it's also nice to be
surprised.
Yeah, or just like feel good about it. Like
totally good.
It's been like the hits just keep on coming lately. With the we had Mandalorian season 2 earlier this year. That was crazy. This is great. WandaVision was really good, and also had pretty serious significance in the Marvel U. I think that's what I most of all didn't expect from the television shows, probably because of how we've been sort of trained, where like things like Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't really like they tried to make us believe that, but it was a pretty futile effort. And then once they eliminated S.H.I.E.L.D., it was kind of
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, Viet. Oh, sorry, Bobby. Go ahead.
No, yeah, we should move on.
All right, Viet, what you got?
Let's see. I pretty much watched it's like a DOTA. It's an anime on Netflix. DOTA Dragon's Blood. It's like a 8-episode series on Netflix, and it was actually pretty good. Like I don't know anything about the game, but apparently it was it was just like an expansion of Warcraft, I think, and then it became its own game.
Interesting.
And but yeah, it's sword and sorcery type of anime.
Nice.
Very, the guy looks very. He doesn't act like it's not Berserk, but the dude looks really similar. But
looks like Guts, you mean?
Yeah, looks like he's got the short hair, just the armor and all that kind of stuff. He did have a big sword too. I'm
looking at this fool. He does look like Guts, especially from far away.
Yeah, I mean, and it's got like if. It's almost just like an anime version of the Dragon Prince. Like I've talked about that on previous episodes before. But you got dragons, you got magic and elves, and if that's your sword and sorcery thing is your thing, then I recommend it. That's definitely worth a watch.
Man.
I thought it was interesting for a very different reason, which was that despite the context of the sword and sorcery, they really there was a psychological slant that I haven't seen in anything ever before, which is that this guy was like a dragon hunter, literally I think he's called a dragon meister or something like that. His made his whole life and his name revolves around killing dragons, and it turns out he is he's psychically bonded to a dragon.
Yeah.
So he's part dragon essentially, and the dragon's consciousness sometimes comes out and sort of takes over his body, and then he goes to an astral plane and talks to dragons as a human. So there's this whole other side of the equation that I found pretty stimulating. It was cool. It's a pretty cool show. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, and they've definitely stepped up their game. Like usually with Netflix anime, the animation can be really heavy in the computer generated animation.
But, King and Ashura.
Yeah. I mean, one complaint of the Dragon Prince and and a lot of the Netflix exclusive animes, you can really see it, right? But they've definitely upped their game on this one. It's not glaringly computer animated.
Which one is the Dragon Prince?
The Dragon Prince was it was a series made by one of the writers from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh,
but it's really good. Yeah.
Right. It's not really anime. It's
yeah. It's an animation, but yeah, it's a cartoon.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know that one.
But yeah,
agreed.
That's mine. All right, Corin.
So I'll keep the animation train going. Has anybody watched the Invincible series that is now on Amazon?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Definitely.
Which is ironic.
Go ahead.
I said, which is ironic we have Richard on, because Richard is the one that actually got me reading the comic at the very beginning of it all. So he's the one that put me on Invincible, and now we're here talking about the animated series on Netflix that is not necessarily kid-friendly. So listeners out there, if you got youngins like little kids, you probably shouldn't be watching this. It's skewed definitely more towards the tweens and teens. Go ahead, Bobby.
Oh yeah, I mean it's animated. probably not as bad as The Boys, but it's pretty much like it's up there with The Boys in regards to
Have you
like
seen Demon
not
City
safe for-
Shinjuku?
Oh yeah, I just watched that recently again.
I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
Yeah, like as in like not safe for the children.
Yeah, heads getting blown up, F-bombs, shit, curse words, but sticking very close to the comic, which I enjoy. They do switch up some things in order to make the pacing and the anticipation a lot different than the book, but
Right.
it's definitely shaping up to be very close to the book, and in that's very pleasing. Hopefully they've got a nice long run ahead, but it's definitely worth checking out if you're just any kind of superhero fan. It's a bit of like The Boys mixed with Spider-Man in some ways, because the hero is like the quintessential Peter Parker kind of character, where he's just good from the get-go, just has a kind heart and just a good person, raised to be this good person, and then his life just has his ups and downs.
And he's half Asian, represent.
It's sort of like it's a family drama in a way, right? Like, I mean, his dad's like Superman analog, right? Kind of in a way, like.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I've been reading that since 2006. I remember when I first showed Corwin the book. Man, my first impression of it.
Oh, that's some serious words, Corwin. It's going in.
That's like the one. That's the one.
When I met you, I was but the look.
And Walking Dead.
Really, that one too?
Yep. You put on Robert Kirkman.
Oh, look at that, man. I came up with 2 wins, but I actually used to describe it as Superman meets Dragon Ball Z. To be honest,
very true. Very true. You got it. You nailed it.
Is the show like so far sticking to the script, or is it kind of
Really
focusing
close.
on
Close enough?
Yeah.
I have the Compendium Volume 1 like sitting on my shelf that I haven't opened yet.
You need to. I've got Gianni reading it. He's up to like the 3rd hardcover, so he's familiar with what's going on, and he's really enjoying it. So,
Corwin, you finished it, right?
oh, most definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I was satisfied, man.
Oh,
It's got a long
Somebody's
run.
Check it out.
yes, exactly. Some of these battles we know that are coming.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I can't wait. Battle Beast.
and the what's it called, the voice actors, like there's like Steven Yeun, who was Glenn on Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
He's the voice of Invincible. The mom is played by Sandra Oh.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I actually didn't realize that the mom was an Asian character and that he was half Asian.
Yep.
I must have missed that. Like, I mean, do they mention it, or is it
I don't think they really made that too apparent in the books.
I don't recall.
Did you do you think you knew, like, looking at the character in the cartoon, I don't feel like she's drawn in a way that
It's not overly obvious, but
Yeah.
if you look, like Gianni and I talked about it a little bit, it's like, yeah, her eyes, they
Yeah.
are.
Well, I do know he cares about that stuff. Like, one thing that they've done a lot lately, as you all know, is when they're converting different media over, in order to include more people of color, they're changing a lot of people's backgrounds. They're making people, different races, different genders than they were. But one thing I have to say about Invincible is, like, the character that was very much like Batman, Darkwing. I mean, he's been black from the beginning. And I felt like I wanted to mention that because I felt like Robert Kirkman was a little bit ahead of the curve as opposed to creating powerful people of color in comics. When I think of it, I mean, when I think of Tyrese and Michonne in The Walking Dead, they were two of one of the most important characters. And, I feel like there'll be a lot of characters in Invincible of different races that come through and, they're not just typecast characters. They're well thought out, well made.
Well, they changed his girlfriend, right? Amber. She was white
This
in the
is true.
comics.
Yeah,
and
this
she's
is true.
now black in the animated series.
Yeah,
So.
they did change that. That's true.
But J.K. Simmons.
It's definitely worse when you come across those quota fill moments, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, guys, you check the boxes, when it's obvious that somebody just doesn't get it, really, at the end of, right? It's like it's just worse. It's such a letdown, and it's nice to see characters that are filled out, like instead of
just tokens.
Yeah, just archetypes of some variety or another, stereotype, archetype.
But yeah, Corin, you mentioned J.K. Simmons. This is like I was like, yeah, he's spot on. Like, if they made a live action one, it would be like, if they could buff him up, he would be the perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, you should have seen him when he beefed up for Justice League. But what was I gonna say? Hold on, beefed up for Justice League. I had something else.
Like there, I in the Discord, I shared like this meme of like the evolution of J.K. Simmons' mustache.
What was it? Damn it! I had something else with the show besides the top notch. I mean, the top notch. They got top notch voice actors and actors in here. I mean, Carrie Payton is in there. You'll notice later on. Ezekiel from Walking Dead or Cyborg from Teen Titans Go. I mean, he's voicing Black Samson.
Oh, which character is he?
Black Samson.
Yeah, the old member of the Guardians who kind of gets put on to the new one.
Yeah. Did you say he was on Walking Dead too?
Yeah, he's Ezekiel. He has the dreads, even though
with
they're
the
not
tiger.
real.
Yeah.
With the tiger.
You know what? I don't think I didn't
do that, huh?
finish Walking Dead, so.
It's all good.
I gave up a couple of years ago. I don't think I saw that character.
Do you mind if I throw one little fun fact in there for Invincible before you go forward? Just since you're talking about voice actors. Well, from the very first episode, and even in the trailer of the show, they show the front of the high school, right? Mm-hmm. And the high school is called Reginald Bell Johnson High School, right? And I had to look up who that person was, even back when I was reading the books in the beginning, right?
Okay.
And it turns out that he is Carl Winslow from Family Matters, and simply because Robert Kirkman has always liked that character and that actor, and eventually when he does show up in the show, it'll be his likeness and his voice.
Nice.
No kidding.
Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. We're talking about inclusion and stuff. From the very beginning of the show also, Mark's best friend is gay, and it's like,
this is true.
He just makes a quick comment about it. That's it. He is who he is. I just love it that they're very forward thinking, as Rich was saying.
Yeah, very much so. Well, it's finally time for that stuff.
Like, you mean this is a comic that's reflecting on what America is like? Are you telling me that there's different people than white people, Richard? Is that what you're telling me?
You know, I hate to break it to you. Well,
shatter your world.
What? I'll wait till it's my turn, but there's something I wanted to mention later on.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Go ahead. I mean, I know what you're going to talk about first, because there's no way that you're not going to talk about this next show. But go do your aside first.
Yeah.
Well, guys, just to keep it real, since I don't know is the next time I'm going to be here. We're on the topic of inclusion and comics and media, and there's so many different types of people who enjoy so much type of stuff, comics, science fiction, and only until recently, were people of color even being celebrated in these medias, even though that we're huge fans of all of them, right?
But yeah, but what are the white people going to celebrate, Richard? I mean, all they have is Captain America, Hawkeye, Human Torch, Superman, Batman,
exactly.
Iron Man.
I just don't understand why. All lives matter.
Yeah. Well, check me out. So, Dwayne McDuffie, right? Who is one of the people who started Milestone Comics, who worked at DC and created a few cool characters like Static Shock and Scott Milestone. Like, Corwin kind of put me on to who he was, and I started reading and listening to a lot of his videos. And one thing that he said in one of his things that I'll always remember is that when he was coming up as an artist and as a writer, that they always somewhat had an unspoken rule that if there were more than 3 black main characters of a show, people dismissed it as a black show, and it was somewhat just put in its own category. And that always stuck to me, man, because it's like growing up as a kid, looking through cable, flipping through televisions. I mean, if you see something that got your interest, it didn't matter who was on there. I mean, I wasn't used to seeing people that looked like me anyway.
Right.
So you could see a conversation of 3 white people, but if the show looked interesting, if it looked like they were in space, whatever the fuck, you're paying attention because you're going to be engaged by the content of what's the conversation. But unfortunately, I hate to say it, a lot of America, when they're flipping through channels, and if they see 3 or 4 black people talking together, it doesn't matter what it's about. A lot of people automatically assume this show isn't for me.
What are we? I was like, are we on BET? What is this?
Yeah, exactly. You know?
No, it's true. It's dumb.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, yeah, and it's dumb.
So it's just a good thing to see finally that we can have these still rich scenarios full of fantasy, full of sci-fi, and still have enough inclusion and have enough understanding, hopefully, so that no matter who is paying attention can still feel that they see a version of themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we mention it. We mention a lot on the show where we're just like, wouldn't it be nice if we don't have to mention that, hey, this guy's Asian. Isn't that cool?
Brother,
things like that.
In a few years, I don't think we'll have to.
Yeah.
We'll man, preach. I love where your head's at.
That's what's up.
All right.
There's this thing too where, like, and since I'm the minority right now, over here in my corner.
Yeah, we allow one white person on the show.
White folks, this, like, call white guilt, whatever it is, this thing that people can't get past. Just like, you got to be aware of your privilege, and that's what I guess I feel like I've come a long way with it, because even a few years ago, I felt different than I do now, where I was trying to empathize in different ways than I am now. But it's like it shouldn't be that hard, It shouldn't be such a battle
it's built in, man. It's ingrained in you.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's ingrained in all of us, So, I mean, and it's about just diversifying your circle of friends and then just learning, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I not only do I have a bit of white privilege, excuse me, but my mother has a PhD in multicultural art education.
Really?
Nice.
So so I was like taught from a young age, and but I went through that sort of like phase where I felt like, well, I'm not, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not racist. I'm not bringing anything to my, my daily sort of like passings of judgments as I go through my life, But you do. We all do.
We all do.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's been an interesting few years. As crazy as it has been,
a lot of learning opportunities.
A lot of learning opportunities that have come recently. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we appreciate you saying that, man. I know I do.
Yeah, no doubt. It was reminding me for a second of you guys all have up on Rick and Morty, right?
Oh, of course.
Shoot.
Yep.
The train episode. You guys.
He's talking about last season, Rich. The new season hasn't started.
Oh
yet.
yeah, I haven't watched.
Is there a new season coming?
Should be.
God, I hope so. The last season, the train episode where they're literally on the plot vehicle of the train, and there's a point where Rick's like, we're at We're gonna have to create some spacesuits that will like fail here, so that we have to pay a heavy cost to get back inside once we get here, and then like they're outside and he's like losing air. He's like, Morty, quick, the Bechtel test. 2 women, they have to have names and talk about something other than a man. It's a different category, obviously, but
right. Yeah,
it's like
still about
alluding to the lunacy of like, but the fact that there's a Bechtel test, right? Like,
yep.
Why does her job have to have lesbian in the title? Lesbian, created by lesbian comic artist.
Oh man.
So. Anyways.
All right, Rich, what you got?
I got one.
It's Rich's turn.
Go first. It's his turn.
What?
Glad you're excited.
Hey, remember that privilege we talked about?
Dude, I just feel like, you know what I mean? Everybody should have the same chance, you know? Like, I don't understand why he's got to get extra chances.
Oh, man. All right,
go on, Rich, my man.
Should I go ahead? All right, well, man. Well, first of all, I'm happy to be a part of this, which is great. So I do want to mention that. But, man, I feel like I'm not as caught up as I should be, man. I'm not caught up with Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I tell you what, guys, I have watched more anime recently than I've had a chance to watch in a long time. I don't know exactly if you guys are anime fans. I believe most of us are. But
Yep.
the most impressive thing that I've watched lately in a while has been this anime, Jujutsu Kaisen, which I've realized just yesterday was a quote when I messaged you, but I feel like it's kind of a reboot of another anime from like 15 years ago called Tokyo Majin, where it's basically about high school, college-age kids who are able to see projections of curses that regular people can't see, that take physical manifestations and kill people, you know?
Wow.
And, I mean, the plot has been done before, like I've said, you know. Anime revolves around these amazing high school age kids. That's kind of always how it is. But
there seems to be a lot that goes on in high school in anime.
Right, man. But I just have to say the animation within the action sequences, we're all longtime action fans, and we know that sometimes they bring in different animation teams to do certain episodes where there's going to be a high action content. Naruto is famous for that. You know, like they'll have a whole other team of animators to do some stuff. But these people who do Jujutsu Kaisen week after week are coming through with amazing animation, amazing fight scenes, and amazing creativity. Like, for instance, not to give anything away. And, you know, I've consumed a lot of content, especially when it comes to things that involve martial arts, because that's kind of one of my things. But they have a character who's one of his techniques is when he's fighting with another person, he can clap his hands and switch places with the other person to always keep their opponent off guard. So when you think one person is throwing another type of punch at you, he claps his hands and throws a punch from another completely different direction. And it's just, it was amazing. Corey, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, almost like Link.
Sort of like well, even quicker than that, because he can just make anything switch places. It doesn't even have to be a person.
Correct.
He can make anything switch places with just that one quick clap, and it's just ridiculous how that fight scene went down.
Familiar.
So original. So that's one thing that I'm really excited about. That just finished up that season. 24 episodes went so fast, but that was great.
The first, I think they're up to 18 now on HBO Max, where you can get it dubbed in English. So if you have HBO Max,
what's
check
it called?
Jujutsu Kaisen. I definitely would suggest it to all fans of anime and action. Cool. But on a flip side, I have been watching another animation called Golden Kamuy. And I guess Kamuy is an old native Japanese term of people called the Anu, A-N-U-I. It's what Nakaruru was in Samurai Showdown, kind of like a native Japanese Indian, if you want to put like, or just a native of rural Japan. But anyways, this series is set in the 1800s, and it just revolves around an ex-soldier who has went through so many life and death situations that they call him Immortal Sugimoto. because he's just been shot, he's been stabbed, things that would kill blown up, and he always survives. So even in his mind, he feels like he's immortal and just can't be defeated. Regular man, though. And he comes across a legend of some gold that is spread across Japan that certain prisoners in some like seedy Japanese prison all knew about some gold that they spread across. And he just decides to try to find the gold and comes across a little like NU girl who knows everything about the environment, everything about every animal, how to cook it, how to hunt it, how to trap it, how to eat it. And it's just this grown man and this preteen girl together in the adventure. And it sounds weird and you would think that it's like off, but man, the relationship, just the friendship that these two form and the adventures they go on, it's amazing, man.
Dude looks like a JoJo. Like he's got that hat.
Yeah. You looked them up, Immortal Sugimoto. Man, it is such a good show. It's so touching. I've had so many episodes that, kind of get in my feelings, all just regarding the friendship.
I'm sorry. Is that the show that is by the guys that did JoJo?
No, not that one. This is like I think a completely different studio.
My bad.
Is this is it like The Professional? Because that's the first thing I thought of.
You know what, brother? When you think of it that way, I guess I can kind of see where that is. Because, you have this trained killer and this little girl who formed this teamwork. You know what? Yeah, brother. I can definitely see where that comparison will come in. So, that's on Crunchyroll. I watch it on a network called VRV that I pay for, but I definitely would suggest that as well. Golden Kamuy is great.
You are not messing around with anime, huh?
No, man, it's crazy. I'm actually watching more of it than I ever have in a while, man. It's good stuff, man. Quality.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby.
Just when I think I'm like getting too deep into anime, somebody shows up and
you some more
just rattles off like 8 shows I've never even heard of. So
yeah, right. Like, oh, here we go.
Well, all right. So I know like we're probably getting close to wrapping up. I got a couple things I want to like kind of rattle off real quick. There's an anime I watched actually. I just rewatched it just cause worth checking out from Netflix. For a couple of reasons. One though is because it's an anime about Latinos using kung fu.
Tres Hermanos.
It's called Seis Manos.
Yeah, Seis Manos. Yeah,
good
that
shit.
was good.
Good shit.
It's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I really liked it. It was good the second time. I also just watched they came with a second season of The Beginning, which the first season was like about a serial killer, but then as it went on, it turned out to be about these like superhumans that existed in this fictional country that was maybe in the somewhere near in the Mediterranean. Like these guys could fly but they could hide their wings and like they had blades on their hands, but it's called The Beginning.
Interesting. Okay.
It's another Netflix one. It's actually the first season's really good. The second season, bit convoluted.
I'm pretty certain that's the B series.
It's The Beginning.
The B, yeah.
Sorry, is that what you said?
Yeah, I'd heard about it.
I also watched an anime movie, Final Fantasy Kingsglaive.
Oh man, amazing!
Wow, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like
Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, I love the idea of them throwing their weapons around and like being where the weapons
that was
are.
such a cool power. Yeah,
yes,
really
so
like that
awesome.
too.
Yeah.
It's actually the prequel to the game, Bobby. So if you play the game, you're the king's son trying to travel around and stuff, and you do get that teleporting ability.
I just wanted to sneak in that I watched for the first time, and now I'm gonna have to watch all of them. Ip Man, and
for the first time.
For the first time, yeah.
Wow.
I never got around to it. That shit was dope.
Dude,
really
watch
like
them all, man.
Yeah.
They're
they're all good.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be able to tell you like
Which one is which?
yeah, which one is which.
Right.
But he does fight Mike Tyson.
In the third one, which is good.
I didn't know until the end that I had a feeling as the movie went on that it might be based on real events, but then the connection with Bruce Lee was pretty interesting. I mean, in some ways not. I was thinking through a lot of the movie, like, this is some real kung fu. This reminds me of the way that Bruce Lee moved.
Yeah.
That's honestly what I was thinking as I watched, just like the speed, you know, not as fast as Bruce Lee, but that's what my kind of like, that was what my takeaway was.
And Corwin and I have said it like 20 million times, but for fuck's sake, some people watch Warrior. Holy shit. We say it every episode, but I will not shut up about it.
I watched a couple episodes.
It's a great show, man.
Man,
So good.
Even my girl likes it, so yeah.
And my one more Asian piece, there's this show on Netflix that captured me, and this kind of goes to what we were talking about earlier as far as, you know, people being in roles that they should be in, even though they're not always. The show is called Sisyphus, or like The Legend of Sisyphus, and it's on Netflix. I believe it's Korean, and there's no dub, but it's kind of like a weird, like a deep dive sci-fi thing. There's time travel, other weirdness, like tough females with the guns, like protecting the wimpy dudes. There's like the feeling that I'm getting from it is like watching Lost. That's the only way. I mean, there's no island exactly, but that's the kind of like mysterious, shrouded in, like, you can't tell if it's technology or mysticism. And I'm only a couple episodes in.
The myth?
Like the myth, yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna have to spell that. You're gonna have to figure out how to spell that one for the show notes.
I got it.
I think you can spell
Not
that.
because I'm Asian, but I just looked it up on Google.
Oh, hush, nerd.
But yeah, kind of cool, just like to have that, you know, like
You said it was a movie or a series?
It's a series.
Series, all right.
And like to be honest, it's kind of like capturing me in that way. Like the episodes, like there's a few up, but they're like new ones are coming out weekly, I think. So you can't binge the whole thing. But I remember, you know, I used to like, I was working at a bar at the time. I set up like Lost, like watching parties at the bar, like when Lost was still on, and we were like,
it might just be called Sisyphus. Like, I don't know. There's like Sisyphus the myth, and then there's just Sisyphus. So I don't know.
It's that show. But,
okay.
But I'm not sure if it's Sisyphus the myth either. It sort of seems like that's the title, but the main point is that it's called Sisyphus. If you put that in the search, you would find it.
Right.
Yeah, it's captivating.
Very nice. Bobby, did you ever watch Claymore by any chance?
The anime?
Yeah.
I don't think so. What's the context? What's the premise?
Well, what made me think of it is this is one of the first animes I've ever seen where the women come off. I mean, the women are the main characters. There's no romance really or anything about it because, you know, normally when there's a female character, she always has to be entwined with one of the male characters in one way, shape, or form. But Claymore is just no nonsense. It's about the women being the defenders of the country, and they just kick ass all the time. You know,
almost like a female berserk to really be broad with the description, but it's a classic. It is on Hulu too.
It's interesting how anime, you know, is like sort of like so contradictory in this way, where there's this like complete objectification of women, and then this, side by side with these complete badass women.
Right.
Yeah, was it DOTA has a lot of badass women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like it just from the trailer I watched. What we were talking.
Like every female character on there is no joke.
But even in that show, there's a little bit of like petty, jealous bickering over the over the pectorals of Dragon Dude.
Yeah.
All right,
over the cum gutters.
what you got? Let's keep it moving. What you got?
I'm trying to think of. Besides, I did a rewatch of Cowboy Bebop. That was fun.
You gotta do it.
At least wait for the live action.
Not once a month.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. And I forgot how creepy that one robot dude was.
Yeah.
What was his name?
The French guy?
Yeah.
Like the fat.
Yeah. Just that's so
good episode.
That was it was a fun one to power through in like a weekend. But besides that, I'm surprised we didn't talk about Superman and Lois. So let's.
That was coming up. That was coming up. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go and do it. Let's go and talk about that one.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, our buddy Richard Allen West the second.
Huge.
Third, yeah.
The second.
Second.
Yeah,
cool. Second.
Big super friend.
You're supposed to know him better than me.
I'm trying to jinx you here.
Yeah.
But yes, he is the biggest Superman fan.
Oh, this is the facts on the ground?
Yes.
This is the facts on the ground.
Yes.
This guy's going to defend Superman to his death?
That's mostly why we wanted to get Richard on here, was to talk about it. And
Right.
so I think we should close the show, I think, with talking about, like, we can't not talk about it. when Richard's
let's
on.
not be in a huge rush. We're good on time. I don't think we're dying for time, so there's no big rush. But yes, let's talk about the Superman and Lois show.
Your boy Tyler Hoechlin, that wolf from Where Teen Wolf. I don't know, man.
I disagree, man.
How far did you get, Bobby? First,
I think I'm caught up.
Okay.
It's okay. It's not. It's to be honest, it's a little bit better than I expected, but not like significantly so. And I think I've watched a couple of the like behind the scenes little clips, and they even sort of allude to the fact of that they're going for a feel good family drama, and they certainly have done that. And I don't know. Maybe it's for some people.
Go ahead, Rich.
Well, okay.
I don't hate it.
Right, you're just not totally into it. Well, dude, Bobby, it's interesting, man. I mean, oh man, we could have a whole nother show separate about this Superman and the way he's been portrayed over the years. But I'll make it quick in the fact that we all know that Superman is very hard to get right for the mass people who like him, because he is the oldest superhero. He's got one of the largest fan bases just based on the amount of time he's been around. I mean, 1937, I believe. Yeah. Shit, the first Superman comic ever made, just an 8.5 sold today for $3.25 million. So I mean, people are still gunning after this man. So this show, I feel, has taken criticisms that came from the 2013 Man of Steel and taking some of the positives that they've received from Tyler Hoechlin's portrayal of Superman in season 2 of Supergirl, and tried to combine these things together. When you look at the production value of the show, it looks like they were going for a few of the Zack Snyder elements from Man of Steel, very obviously, in the color tone of the show.
Yeah, that's point well taken.
Right. But at the same time, due to the complaints that many people had regarding the brooding Superman, which, to be honest with you, I didn't see too much of that in Man of Steel. I saw a little bit more of Batman vs Superman. But anyways, they want this man to smile, and they want him to be someone that's approachable and someone that embodies the idea of hope that Superman was supposedly always supposed to be about. Now, I personally think that Tyler is a better Clark than he is a Superman. Because, you know, his smile and the way that his clothes fit him, you know, it's like suits are hard to get right for most superheroes, especially simple suits where it's just really about the body of the suit and the cape, you know. A lot of that has to do with the physique. And as you can see in Shazam, when you don't have the physique and they try to fake it, you come out looking stupid.
And not for nothing, Tyler Hoach, whatever his last name is, he's pretty cut, but he's just not Superman cut, you know?
Correct. And I think he doesn't look bad in the suit, but I think we were spoiled with Henry Cavill in the sense that, you know, you have this huge guy who looks like he just could just put on a sheet and still like a superhero, you know?
Have there been storylines where, I mean, like, have there been storylines where he's had kids?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got a kid in main continuity right now, you know, continuity, I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Which has always been, to me as a longtime fan, you know, it's hard to adjust to. They've had, of course, Elseworld stories and different type of stories where Superman has had children before. Man, I can't call it right now, but Chris, you know, Jesus Christ, Corwin, you know the one I'm talking about, where it's you know, where he's like a real person. But anyways.
Oh, you talking about the Earth One stories?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's a little known fact. There is an Elseworld story with the two twins, Jonathan and Jordan.
What?
Just found that out. I just found that out a few days ago. Yeah, but
deep cuts. We bring it to you.
But yeah, to make a long story short, I think this show is going in the right direction based on the way CW has gotten their fans. I mean, you know, it's a mixture of action. It's a mixture of kind of wholesome family TV. It's weird watching Superman say he can't go save the world because my wife said no.
You know, but that's the thing, right? Like you if you think about all of the major like the major big heroes, like they're all shitty dads.
Yeah.
Right? Like Goku, Goku, Aang's a terrible dad. Like, and he was the Avatar, right? But he was like, if you watch Legend of Korra, he was a shitty dad.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, right. So it kind of goes, and it's sort of like, it's kind of cool to, I mean, personally, like I didn't like Man of Steel, but like sort of like, but I'm not a big Superman fan. But like when I think of Superman, I think of more of the wholesome family type of feel to it, and that's why I like the CW. I like this version, and I'm all about like some teen angst and stuff like that. So the stuff with the twins, I think it's fun, and like I enjoy it.
I was not expecting this show to be like this at all.
Right.
I love the fact that they given him a very relatable and human weakness with his family and his kids, and him trying to juggle everything, and even being Superman, he has problems relating to one of his sons, and even at times both of his kids seem to always have some kind of problem with him. So I just love that it's very relatable, and as somebody that has kids, I can very much understand what he goes through sometimes.
Yeah,
can I touch on Corwin? I think
Go ahead, Bobby.
I think you nailed it. That they found a way to present Superman's real kryptonite, right? Like, he you can be able to leap a tall building in a single bound, but if you can't, talk to your sons properly, when you're gonna be just as lost as anybody else. And they have accomplished something with that. I have, you got to hand it to them. It's never seen that, right? Like,
very true.
I guess Rich, you were talking about how they bring some of the baggage from Man of Steel and earlier aspects of the CW run as a whole, like the whatever they call it, the
Arrowverse.
The Arrowverse. I think that's more true. I think that's probably gonna be the killing stroke, unfortunate, like, is that fact that they are bringing this baggage. I actually really like Man of Steel. I know I'm kind of like
in the minority.
Well,
I don't know. Right now, it's kind of split. Over the years, it's like split down the middle.
Like I'll tell you what, if I want to put on a DC movie of the extended universe, which I never do, the only one I will reach for is Man of Steel.
Me too.
And I mean, I actually honestly have reached for it a few times to be like, I want to watch that movie right now. Put it on. You know what I mean? So there's a thing that happens where Superman, in whatever context, does bring with him the previous, right? Like, and that's not their fault, but I think that they're going to direct. I mean, it's their choice, right? It's their game to win, or win as they see fit to win. Flash is the one that stayed, right? Arrow's gone now, and the darker hero thing is out. And this is what's working for CW, right? But for me, there's a little bit too much of the quota, the box checking stuff going on. Not necessarily like racially in this show,
right,
but I feel like they're it's just a bit too soft. Like there's a Leave It to Beaverness that's not cool.
I can see what you're saying.
And for that reason,
like,
is why I like it. So
yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
so
It's like it's.
I'm
not. I've watched every episode, and I'm gonna continue watching it. Like, I want to like the characters. I want them to, like, I don't know. It's
tough, man. It's tough.
I like it, but to be honest, I mean, where is it going? Like, what would you, if you had to sum it up, what's going on in this show?
That's the beauty. You can't say for sure. I mean,
yes,
the kids have been a focus. It looks like they're going to get plenty of screen time as well as Superman. I mean, they've been getting a lot compared to Superman and his battles and villains and stuff like that. But I do like the fact that these boys are a bit of a focus. And I mean, I'm hoping they don't jump too heavy into the superhero stuff with them. But we'll probably go with them through their high school years for the next 4 years, at the very least.
Is it inclusion or just another, putting a black man down to give us black Lex Luthor?
that is a subject of debate, because I know one of the writers left the show kind of because of some stuff like that. I forgot her name. But yeah, I mean, when she was writing for the show, she did have a voice some concerns with things like that. I have in my notes here that, just like Stargirl, this show is actually HBO backed, so it has a bigger budget than most of the other CW shows. So the special effects in this are definitely a lot better than you'll see on the CW.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about, the whole Man of Steel feel. Like, from the first episode, you get that,
Real quick, just because you touched on it, I gotta say, like, I really like Stargirl.
Yeah, it's a fun show.
I never started it.
Yeah.
it caught me like off guard. Like one day I was flipping through like this CW, on demand, and I was like, what's this? And I'm assuming that's the it's gender swapped Starman.
No,
Stargirl's a character.
Is it all new?
It is not all new. She is based off of Jeff Johns. He created the character in the 90s based off his sister who died. She was pretty much part of the JSA, the Justice Societies, where she's kind of from. So in that show, of course, you see the Alan Scott ring. You see a bunch of the Justice Society characters.
Right.
So it is in the CW universe, but it is a different Earth.
Yeah. And Bobby, I wanted to touch on something too, real quick, just about the Black Lex Luthor. And I know Corwin's probably gonna, mention this too, but I don't know if you got a chance to watch Krypton, but
I did.
Yeah.
I feel like they've kind of gone into a direction where it's like they do a little bit of the swapping, but they did it pretty well in Krypton by making kind of the whole Zod family into like black people, but it worked out well. It worked out all right in there,
It does leave you it leaves a little bit of a sour taste though when it's always the villain, right?
Yeah,
like
this is true.
But that dude's a pretty good actor for one thing. I don't recognize the guy playing Lex Luthor from anything specifically, but
right.
Matter of fact, that guy was Arrow's stepdad.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was that. Like, yeah.
Krypton was better than I expected. Then it got cheesier than I ever could have imagined, and you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, season 1 was so great.
It was a little bit just like, really with the Doomsday, like, I guess they kind of made it work, but like. When it's shoehorning so much Superman into the past, I guess that's all you have, right? Like,
right. I know it's tough.
It's tough. It's just I would like to see them one of these times, like, go to a prequel and make it a prequel instead of a redo,
Right. Or when you have a side character that is now a main character of their own show, but you have to bring all the other people's villains into that show.
Right.
It's a hard thing because you're trying to cast those people to, who only have a little bit of interest, not even interest, a little bit of knowledge. So they can be like, oh, I know this person. It's a game.
Yeah.
Casuals. You got to get the casuals in there.
Right.
All right. So before we wrap up, I will jump into some anime talk because this series kind of surprised me because I did not expect it to be as great as it was, and the name alone is just silly, but that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
You watched that?
Son, I flew through I flew through the first season, and then the second season I had to watch it as it was coming out.
Damn.
This series is some straight world building video. It's almost video game style. It is very much video game style. But just how it starts with this one little character and how he influences the world and eventually begins to rule an empire and his enemies and the evolution of everything that goes on around him. It is just captivating and exciting. It does every once in a while drop into that young 7-year-old comedy humor sometimes. But when they really get down on the action and just the spells and it's straight like an RPG, and it's just so fun, so entertaining, and it can get so crazy, but it's gonna go down as a classic. I love it.
This is the question I ask any of Corwin's recommendations. Whenever there's something in the title, I always ask him if there's actually things in the title. So is there slime in the book in the anime?
Yes, the main character is a slime. Yes.
Okay.
He dies on Earth, on our regular Earth, and he gets reincarnated in this fantastical universe as a slime. But he has this like Dungeons and Dragons, but he has the special ability that nobody else has, to where he can absorb and adapt things. So as you see through the show, at the very beginning of the show, he's pretty weak, but he starts eating like other animals and stuff, and he's able to adapt back.
Well, so he's Kirby, basically. He's Kirby.
Yes, he's basically Kirby. Yes.
Well, slimes are one of the original D&D monster characters.
Yeah, big time.
But
Corn.
It balloons. It's just great. Go ahead, Rich.
Well, no, it's just now you just showed me that even though something can have a stupid title, you still got to give it a shot. Real good. Because
fair enough. Fair enough. Don't judge a book by its title. The cover cover's one thing. The title, you got to go all the way.
Yeah.
You're right.
Rich, just to give you context, like Corin talked about Raised by Wolves, and he was just like talking about it for like a good 5 minutes. I'm like, so there's no wolves in this show?
That's a sci-fi show, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So like, so there's no wolves. Right.
Deepest dive of sci-fi possible.
Yeah.
But
So
it's good. Is it good?
Oh yeah.
So whenever Coleman talks about something, he's like, "So is there slime?"
It's Ridley Scott. It's Ridley Scott. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But
Alien.
yeah, so that's where that joke comes from.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
And what was the movie? What was the movie? There was another movie with the wolf in it. I can't remember the name of it now.
Yeah. There was the reason why it's an ongoing joke because there was like 2 or 3 different ones. It was like, are there wolves in this one, Corwin? Yeah. So let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I watched, but I can't think of anything. Oh, but one thing that CW really does do, like especially with Supergirl, and Superman and Lois, like that you know where they stand politically because it is they smack you in the face with it. Like, in this, we're just like like the what's it called? Lois is like the liberal, and then and a lot of husbands like, what? We're just trying to. They're giving us jobs. That's all I give a shit about.
I mean, very stereotypical,
Yeah,
but
and it's very heavy-handed, and I'm just like, maybe just because I follow politics way too much, but I'm just like, ooh, this is heavy.
I give them props, dude. They do flesh it out a bit. I mean, they're not quite as one-sided as
Supergirl.
Yeah, yes. Supergirl is like they made a whole episode about like gun control and shit. Like, I remember that. That was pretty.
Yeah, and alien immigration and all that shit.
Right. Exactly.
But guys, I gotta ask y'all something. Since you're very much into a lot of different content, especially with comic books, is there any like mainstream popular conservative content out there?
Conservative content?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we know that for the most part, actors and actresses, musical artists that do like R&B, hip hop, pop music. I mean, these type of people tend to lean left. They just do. Something about the creative side. I don't know. I don't know why. Comic book artists, all these people, So, I mean, is there some good, conservative value content that we're missing?
I think that it's very likely there's several comic book artists that are more conservative. They don't really quite have to, kind of wear their
on their sleeve
in the same way.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we know and love that are made by problematic people. Even like Harry Potter, she's like totally anti-trans.
Right.
Like,
but I'm just talking about the context of the content. Like, I mean,
you mean like, is there something that's conservatively slanted in the actual content
that's like heavily handed? I mean, like,
yes.
I mean, like Ethan Van Sciver makes stuff. I will never look at it and watch it or watch any of it, but but it might be good. I don't know.
You guys seen Starship Troopers?
Yeah, definitely.
Of
Classic.
course.
Starship Troopers is based on a novel by Robert Heinlein, which is about sort of dystopian future in which citizenship is based on your contribution to to society. A conservative utopia, I guess.
But yeah, it's not like specific.
It's not very specific.
Yeah, or it's not your present day Republican type stuff.
I mean, the sort of like my short like snotty and snappy answer is, well, it's because like all the smart people.
I know. I was trying to stay away from that, but I know. What
but it's saying. Like the problem is that if you can't change your mind, are you sure you have one? Right? Like people who have to. All right, conservatism. In the traditional sense, right? Traditional like Republican values of economic conservatism and stuff like that are things that I can at least understand. But these strange like interpersonal conservative stuff, people that don't support abortion or rights for specific groups,
right?
It's just there's no place for it, and so I mean there is a place for it. But it's not very public.
Right.
I mean, I don't think there's really another answer.
Well, and I think now's a very good political correct answer, man, because it's like, exactly, we could easily just go for that, answer that you might have been leaning toward. But it just makes me wonder if, all of us being, pretty much left-leaning people, it makes me wonder if the reason why we're not seeing much content in the mainstream that don't have those, I guess, conservative values, because is the anger holding them back from the creativity? You know what I mean? Like it's
That's
something that I think
about. Point, right? If you're full of this like animosity and need to rush the Capitol and take a shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk and stuff, you're probably not really working on your figure drawing every day.
Possibly, or maybe in their mind it could be a crisis, and comic books and all that type of stuff is childish, and they need to worry about the future at hand. Hey, it's just an idea. Who knows? You know what I mean? But you never know. I mean, all of us in the world can't. Well, when I say the world, I mean this country. I mean, all of us can't be like. We're not all left-leaning people in this country. Obviously, we see the big divide. But it's just interesting that the content that a lot of us are consuming, sometimes maybe more obviously, like in the Superman, Lois sense, Supergirl sense, has a somewhat veiled agenda. But it's the fact that we just don't see, even Falcon versus Superman, how we're seeing these issues. Falcon and Winter Soldier, how we're seeing these different aspects of life just pop up,
But the thing is like, we personally can see the racial undertones of Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? But right. I feel like on the just on a surface level, a conservative can still enjoy it, right?
Correct.
And to be fair, like the MCU stuff is very pro-military, pro-war, that type of thing aspects, so they don't go that far left. but
they're not necessarily specifically like pro-patriotic. Like they are about
right.
That's like honestly what really probably made me feel so die hard about the Captain America. I was really impressed by the Marvel's ability to take that stance on it's one thing to make a comic book about, going against, I can't remember what they called it in Civil War in the actual comics, but like when Cap goes against the Sokovia Accords because it's not, because he doesn't want to be a government agent anymore.
Yeah. But I mean,
that was a big deal.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's just like the fact that I know conservatives like X-Men, but then they complain about things getting political. You're just like,
Yeah, some people really do miss the point sometimes.
Yeah, it was found
in the bus or the train.
Yeah, you're just like, you're just like, and I was just like, you guys realize that you're the purifiers, right? Like,
and then at the same time,
you're the friends against humanity in this situation.
They're like, I love those X-Men movies, but Hollywood's run by Jews and communists.
And pedophiles, don't forget that.
Yeah, don't forget pedophiles.
Well, on that brilliant, bright, shining moment note, I don't know about you guys.
Ready to wrap it up?
All the news that's fit to print.
Yes.
All right. Well, Rich, I want to thank you for joining us on the show.
Hey,
Rich, good times, man. Great to meet you.
Indeed, great meeting you, man. Thank you for joining up with my friends, and obviously, you do such a great job.
Thanks,
guys,
man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I'm honored that I was a part of this, and I want you guys to keep up the good work as long as you can.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll have you back on.
Yeah, man.
Eventually.
Look forward to having you back.
Definitely, man. I'll do my homework and come back more caught up.
Well, that's the great thing about EMBS is it's the BS is in the title, so
the BS is a real thing.
Yeah.
Come back with some foreign movies. Get these people on some nice kung fu action.
Oh man, yeah. Okay, I would love to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Both me and Rich can nerd out about that.
Yeah, right.
we had to put Bobby on the story of Ricky, so
oh my God.
he will eventually watch it.
The greatest story ever told, brother.
Yes, the greatest story ever told.
You gotta watch the story of Ricky, man.
You know what? It's gonna go in my notes right now. I know it's been there before, but I'm gonna underline it and highlight and stuff.
Your life's not gonna be the same, brother.
Yep. But yeah, and just another heads up. I guess so. If you're listening to this on the EMP page, then you've listened to this a month late. Yeah. But yeah, we thank you. But yeah. So if you want to get them as like the week of recording, you can be a Patreon patron and kick over a few bucks over to us, and then you also get some swag like some sketches and mugs and other goodies depending on how much you pay. So
it's so easy to become a Patreon supporter. As little as $1,000 a month.
It's rich for my blood.
Yeah.
I was going for the easy laugh.
But yeah, and also to give the heads up, we are starting to record around like Wednesday and Thursday nights, usually around 10 p.m. Eastern on my Twitch channel, like twitch.tv/comedianviet. We'll start recording EMP and EMX episodes there. So if you want to come hang out with us while we record, you can do that.
Berserker Barrage.
All right.
Burgers and fries.
All right, you got anything to plug, Bobby?
Oh boy, you know what? I'm gonna leave him alone this week. I'll let him be. Let sleeping dogs lie.
Where can I find you on Twitter then?
You can find me on Twitter at Bobby Mobetta. You can find me on Insta at Bobby Mobetta. I'll be real honest, guys. I don't spend much time on Facebook these days. I was thinking about maybe making a second profile just so I can keep up with our forums, but Facebook's not my jam lately. But
it's been a little slow.
I'm down to. I'll discuss anything with anyone: music, comics, sci-fi.
Yeah. We do have our Facebook group, and but then we also we're also on Discord. So Go to our website, earthsmightiestpodcast.com, and there's links for those.
Oh, and there's a bunch of other podcasts out there that cover all the Marvel heroes you love. And if you search the hashtag The Collective Net, then you can find those folks. Check them out.
All right. With that, we will see you guys next month.
Later.
Bye-bye. Thank you, patrons.
You're welcome. So happy.
From 80-year-olds to the children, you're here to hear about the heroes and the villains, and save yourself some dollars, yen, and euros from the zeros to the millions. This is a lot of class packed into one podcast. They probably ought to have laws passed, but it's too late to stop the onslaught. Raw blast of compacted, bombastic, five-alarm sass. They're talking AVX, way back to Secret Invasion. They're talking flying up high in the sky, down to the feet on the pavement. They're reading the pages of every single one of the summer events. So other than Venice, you want to be coming to them when you want the Avengers. They're up inside of your environment with flying iron fists, giant-sized Goliaths, and the tiniest super scientists. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's Mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's Mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's Mightiest.